Hey friends, it's Jennifer. I hope you guys are doing well. I'm back today with card number 7. And if you want to see how I decided to make my cards this year, I'll link that in the description above. But I did go back to using the prompts in the month of February, which this card's prompts are going to be yarn and flower. And it's just me putting a bunch of things into a jar on a pieces of paper and drawing them out every week. So I picked out some other things, of course my yarn and my flower, those are the two things that we drew out, but I've got some pink paint and some pink ribbon and a wooden heart that says love on it, and I've got a napkin here. And the only other rules for the month of February is that they're pink, purple, red colors, Valentine's colors, and so that's what I have decided to go with. So I'm first going to take the pink paint and I'm just going to put a coat on here with my paintbrush just to cover up that this particular card has I think it's cereal box on it. And so I'm just covering that up and I'm going to dry this with my heat gun. You can let it dry on its own, but I chose a heat gun. And you can see the paint covers it up pretty good for the first round, but I'm going to put a second coat on there and repeat the same thing. Just put the paint on with my paintbrush, and then I'm going to dry it with my heat gun. And here it is with the second coat. It's pretty much covered up. But just to be on the safe side, I'm going to do a third coat of paint in the same manner. Just apply it with my paintbrush and then dry it with my heat gun. And you can see after the third coat, it is all covered up. You can't see anything through it. So the first thing that I'm going to take is this napkin here, and I like the flower shape on it, so I'm just going to cut out around the flower, and I'm going to use that on the card. Just going to peel that second ply off of there. Most of the time, if you just kind of wrinkle it up a little bit, you'll be able to peel that ply off of there. Other times you have to pry it off, but that's what I did, was just wrinkled it up and put that on there. And so then I'm just laying down some glue here, and I'm just putting it all over the card. And so here I'm just placing the napkin down, and then I'm going back over the top of it with whatever paint I have left on my brush. Very gently. Napkin and tissue paper will tear very easily, but so you got to be careful with that. But I always try to go back over it just to make sure. And I'm just going to dry that with my heat gun. And now I'm going to trim off one edge of the card and just fill it into that blank space right there. I'm just using glue in my finger and just put that piece there just to fill in that blank space there. And now I'm just going to trim off the excess napkin from the rest of my card. Now I'm going to take my Crop-A-Dile punch. It's the 1/2 corner inch on there. It comes in a 1/2 and a 1/4 is the one that I have. And I'm just going to chomp those corners off. And now I'm just going to take some white acrylic gesso. It's just what I had there. I'm going to take a paintbrush, and I'm just going to give this wooden heart just a little coat of white on there. I'm not going in and being too particular, but I did want it to stand out more on the card, so I did give it just a little coat of the white gesso. And I'm going to take some purple alcohol ink. I got this from the artist section at the Hobby Lobby. And I'm just going to put a few drops of purple ink on there and just kind of let it sit in there. And I'm also going to do the same with some gold ink. You can see I just took my paintbrush and just kind of smooshed it in there a little bit. But I'm going to do the same thing with the gold alcohol ink. Just drop some drops in there. And I'm not going to touch that because I want it to be just drops of gold in there. And of course, I'm going to dry it with my heat gun. And I think it turned out pretty good. So now I got these full flakes from Hobby Lobby as well. They're from the artist section. I've never really used these before. So I'm just going to think about what I'm going to do. I didn't know if you used them with glue or what. So um, some of them spilled out onto the card, and I already like the way that they look, but I'm still not sure how I'm going to use them yet. So I'm just taking my flour and my other things and just trying to figure out where I'm going to arrange them because I still have the ribbon and the yarn that I want to do. So I'm going to do those first, and I'm just placing the ribbon down the side and giving it a little bit of a um, I put some glue on it and I'm just sort of laying it down there with my fingers. And now I've got this multicolored ribbon. It's like red, pink, purple, orange colors. And I'm just taking it and I'm just wrapping it around the card. Ultimately decided to go at an angle and just not really gluing it down, just sort of wrapping it around the card and then cutting it and then going in there and tucking my tails under the wound part of the ribbon, and I'm just going to tie a bow in it. And because I can't leave it alone, I'm going to tie a double bow just for security. I don't know why I do that with my tennis shoes. Anybody else? I always double bow everything. So I'm just going to tie another bow in the top of it there. And then, of course, cut the tails. And then I'm also going to notch out my ribbon. That's something else I do. I don't know why, but I love notched ribbon. So I'm just doing that with my scissors there. And I'm going to take this, I don't know that it's a screwdriver, it's more like an awl screwdriver. But anyway, it's got a sharp pointy end, and I'm just going to um, run that through the ends of the yarn just to kind of fray it up a little bit. And so I took it around to my sewing machine and just stitched around the edges. And I'm going to going to cut those stitches. And now I'm just trying to place things down on the card. I think that this looks good. But I'm going to go ahead and ink around the card first because once I lay that flower down and the heart down, I'm not sure that I'll be able to get in there really good and ink it up. And so now here's where I've decided to take the gold flakes, and I'm just using glue. I didn't look any of this up. It didn't come with instructions, so I'm just laying some glue down there with a gold flake, and I really, really love it. And here is my heart. If you've been watching me this year, I've decided to put a heart on everything that I do this year to remind me to love others, myself, and my work. And so this just happened to be the word love on this little heart here. And now I'm going to take a scrap piece of paper, and I need to put the number that this card's going to be, which is 7 on here. But I don't have a whole lot of space with the flower and the heart. So I've taken this tiny little punch. I punched the number 7 first, and I'm going to take this tiny little circle punch, and I'm just going to punch out the number 7, which it turned out really, really good. I didn't know if it would fit or not, but it did. And so now I'm going to ink around this tiny little circle here. And of course, I'm going to write on the back of the card. I always write on the back of the card in addition to the number, putting the number on the card. Now I'm going to hot glue this flower down because it is really a thicker flower, and I feel pretty sure that school glue will hold it, but I would have to pin it down, and my hot glue gun was just there. And so I decided to put it down with hot glue. And I did the same with the little purple love heart. I'm just going to put it on the high spots there and glue it down. And now the little number as well, the little circle number 7. I'm just going to use regular glue for that and glue it down. And here is card number 7. I love how this one turned out with all of the different elements in there and the colors. I hope this has inspired you to make some playing cards of your own out of things, packaging you have from your house. And I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you the next time. Bye.